Wake up, buy here, pay here people. It's a beautiful day. Go grab yourself another cup of joe and say hello to Jim and Michelle Rhoads on the Buy Here, Pay Here Morning Show. Take it away, you two.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Hey, good morning.
Afternoon, morning. Yeah, it's like 11 o'clock on the East Coast. We those of you who've been listening for a long time, it kind of depends on where we're at, because I was not willing to do this when we were in Florida. It started at 9 and I was like, not doing it at 7. Not happening. So welcome.
I should warn our listeners right off the top that we're showing to have a really weak internet signal this morning for some reason. So if we should lose you, just stand by. We'll reconnect as soon as we get our internet to resolve. But right now we're good.
All righty.
All right.
We were just talking. We've got a lot of guests backstage that are, very patiently waiting for us to finish our.
Excited to introduce some of those to our listeners.
And we were talking about how cold it is here, and we actually, I was telling everybody that we usually sit outside on the patio, and we ran out of propane for a couple of the heaters, so we've been inside, sitting in a window, looking outside, so.
It's all good. So busy week this week. This is the first time I've done 3 V8 meetings in the same week. And part of that was, had a family funeral last weekend. And then, of course, the holiday coming up is kind of a compressed schedule, but great stuff. Conversations around lines of credit. Of course, reinsurance
last
stuff.
Night, you guys didn't even get to the numbers for
which is
a
fine.
good half an hour.
I mean, which is perfectly fine. We just kind of put the numbers in front of everybody and then they talk about what they want to talk about. We talked mostly last night in our meeting about capital, lines of credit, kind of growth strategies. And so, we don't have to talk about numbers.
It's and we always have room for people. We do have last month we had a special, we call it V8 Plus meeting, where Brent Carmichael came and we talked about
pay plans for
collectors. Well, we have another one coming up next week, a V8 Plus meeting where Brent is coming back and we're talking about sales team pay plans.
Got to be a V8 member, so reach out if we can get you involved in one of those. And our newcomer group is coming up a week from Monday, and I'm going to let some people just sit in on that. So if you're a newcomer in the industry and you want to just sit in on a V8 meeting, reach out.
The conversation is usually different, and then you're talking about the numbers from everybody, and then just more coaching. But so it's never too late to do that. And there's one other thing that I as we get started every morning, when those of you who've been watching for a while, we used to always sit on the same side of the table, and Jim's like, I want to sit across from you. I want to sit, because it's really hard to have like a conversation. And normally, when we did that, we would give each other a little peck because, we like each other. And since we started sitting across the table, it was kind of like a blowing a kiss to each other. And so I'm sitting here working on this laptop, and he grabs my leg, and I'm like, what did I do? Did I forget something? And he's like, I want a kiss.
Yeah.
It made me feel good.
It helps me, stay level. Right.
It's grounding. Yeah. This morning we have a room full of special guests. Last Sunday, Monday, Tuesday was the NIADA event, the Buy Here, Pay Here Dealer Forum.
Buy Here, Pay Here, Lease Here, Pay Here.
And so we asked a handful of people that were there to come and talk about their experience. And so I'm going to start bringing people in. And so
there comes Adrian from Utah. There is Jackson in Lakeland, Florida. There comes Elisabeth and her business partner. That's Elisabeth Taylor.
Which is just awesome.
Really cool to have the same name as the famous actor. Two of our listeners are.
And if you got background noise in between when you want to say something, and that, because some of you, I think all of you guys are at your dealership, right? And so business is open, and there are team members and deals being made and all of that.
Whose idea was it to have a podcast during business hours at the dealership?
Ours.
So no, it's that part of what we do, right? So it's all good. I'm happy to have you guys join us, and we really want to get the feedback from your your experience. So let's check in with a few of them. Adrian, I'll start with you in terms of your own experience at the conference. We know because we bump into at these other conferences. You've been to some, and this format is different. So maybe just first share with me a little bit about how you felt about the format versus the traditional, kind of classroom style conference.
Oh, definitely. It was, and good morning, everyone. And Michelle.
Good morning.
Jim, thank you for having us.
Sure.
Yeah, it was interesting the way they did compared to the previous ones that I've been to. One of the things that caught my interest was the group setting that they did. Different, there were 7 groups going on, and we got picked by, they gave us a number. We go in, and I did. Our moderator was Nick Marcosian, also from North. He did great. But meeting the other dealership owners there, the other team members, what I took away, I went in there with an open mind because right now, we think that slow season's going on and keeping employees, just trying to find. So that's what I wanted to go in to see and hear from other leaders. What are you doing to retain your employees?
Uh-huh.
How are you doing to attract top talent too?
Yeah.
So that was one of my major takeaways, and also social media.
Right.
Artificial intelligence. To me, that's a big thing that, I need to get involved more because my 3-year-old and my 8-year-old, they know more than me.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you got a lot out of it. I want to also hear from the others. So we got Jackson. You guys will know him from social media. His handle on social media is German Jackson. He goes by Jackson. Glad to have you here from Central Florida.
Thank you.
Same question of you. Like, what did you think about the format?
I love it. Obviously, this was my first national conference that I went out to, so I don't have much to compare as a different format, but I like it. There's a lot to learn, and I like that. That people are talking to you are people running businesses, so they do have the experience. And the round table is great. Also, our moderator, he's running. He had a lot of experience, and he's currently running. Like a couple of years back, he decided to go back into the business because that's what he likes. And you're talking with someone, firsthand experience. And that's what I like a lot. Obviously you get to know a lot of people. It's funny because a lot of the people out there, I already knew them from Facebook.
Right.
I've even had a lot of phone conversations with a lot of people, but never had a chance to meet them in person.
Yeah.
And it was just an amazing experience overall.
Sure.
Absolutely.
No, it's good stuff.
That's one of the reasons why we're like real advocates of doing the live conferences, because being able to put a live person in front of you to conversations you've had, and also meeting new people, super valuable.
And we've said, I'm a former dealer, and all the years of going to conferences, as most of you know, some of the best conversations are outside the conference hall, maybe over a cocktail, you're chatting with other dealers. And so those are some of the richest things that you take away sometimes, is what you get a chance to learn in a little more depth of a conversation. So it sounds like you got some of that, Jackson. So how many takeaways you feel like you had from the event?
Several, honestly. I mean, in different aspects of the business, operation wise, financial wise, reconditioning, buying inventory, collections, underwriting. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot to take, and I think we are lucky because as I'm partnered with Ysmael, and they're at the same time, like a 3-hour block. You had 3 different sessions running at the same time, so we had the ability to split. We'll talk beforehand and say, hey, I'm gonna join this session, and then you join this other one. So if it was just myself, I couldn't
Right.
We couldn't be at, two different places at the same time. So I think we're lucky there.
Right.
But yeah, there's a lot of takeaways, like the way other people operate, the different point of views, the different visions. There's a lot of value there.
Yeah. Wonderful. Ysmael, as a business partner, I'll come to you with the same thing. You enjoyed the format and had a lot of takeaways?
Yeah. No, good morning. I mean, it was great. Same as Jackson, our first time there. So we didn't have much to compare to. But what we experienced was great. Just having the time to talk with people and see what everybody's doing differently, plus all the workshops. It really is like a great experience. And I mean, Jackson and I, we have been working for a while, 8 years. We were one of those dealerships that we were just doing the things how we know how to do it, and that's it. And it's just opening a different perspective, and it is very helpful.
Yeah. I'm going to have a follow-up question on what you just said, but we'll do that in a minute.
Yeah. So, Elisabeth, let me come to you. And you got your business partner, Michael Meyer, there with you. So you guys have done these events. I think we've seen you at some of the events in the past. And so I just wanted to get a feel for, your experience, like your observations about the format. Like, what did you like about it?
I think my favorite thing is you cannot hide in the back. Not only they surround you with all the vendors, there's no corners to hide in, but it's so intimate. People are all around these. You can't hide. You're there, and everybody knows you're there because there's not that many people in the room. So
I've seen a lot of nodding and smiling.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I'm hearing that the questions can get kind of pointed.
Oh yeah, they'll call you smooth out and hand you a mic, and not even just. I mean, you don't get to hide.
Yeah.
It was good format.
Yeah,
and these are dealers you're seeing at events all the time. We go to all the events that we can possibly attend. So you get used to the people you're seeing, and they'll just smooth call you out. They don't care. I mean, we're in buy here, pay here. They don't care to just talk to you straight. And that's super good. Like somebody mentioned, the cocktails and sitting after hours. That's where you're getting a lot of your best information because you're just chatting it up friend to friend. But I loved the environment. I think it could be very uncomfortable for people who are not accustomed to being called out like that, but it's good, super healthy. I liked it.
Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's the especially the Buy Here, Pay Here conference is one of my favorites because obviously we're in Buy Here, Pay Here, and the way they did it this year, even compared to the previous years, did make it a lot more intimate. As she said, and it was I liked the format in the main the main area where the vendors were, because that's also where they had the tables, and like she said, you really couldn't get away from just being right there in the middle of it. And then of course the format they did with the roundtables was also a excellent format, kind of like they do in 20 groups, and it's just a great time to talk about what's working and what's not working, and bounce those ideas off of each other. And with that being, moderated by also a dealer that's part of that discussion.
Yeah. So talk to me about, you mentioned the format, it's been talked about a little bit, but kind of walk me through, Michael, what's the agenda like? If I'm a first time dealer and I show up and I'm going to attend this thing next year, what can I expect the day to go like?
Well, first off, they start out with breakfast. So and they always do a great spread. So you get there and you have breakfast, but you do that in the main ballroom. And so the way that they did it, they spread the vendors out around the outskirts of that ballroom, and so they were kind of in the mix, and your food line is right through those vendors. So you're not going to experience any high pressure sales. The vendors are also just there to help, to answer questions. So, it's not something that you have to worry about, talking to a vendor. There are some of our great friends, even the ones that we're not currently doing business with. They're very helpful. And then you sit in this, in this room with a bunch of round tables, and they're holding 8 to 10 people each. So you're always going to be sitting with some other dealers beside your group, and you have those discussions starting right at breakfast, and then they go in through the morning with some breakout sessions. And you can see the agendas for those breakout sessions, whether you're more interested in AI, or whether you're more interested in collections, or if you're looking at marketing or sales. You can pick the agenda for your breakout session, and then typically we'll come back together towards the evening for another general session with lunch and then and a cocktail hour. So you're breaking out, but you're coming back together in this environment. And then it was the one day, instead of doing the breakout sessions, we did the roundtables, and that was great.
Yeah.
So it's really just a time where all the dealers can get together and have conversation and really learn from each other. So I would highly recommend it. And it's not something that's that's intimidating at all. It's just conversation with other dealers that are in your business.
Yeah. I heard at least 3
a little bit scared, and then you come out feeling like you came out of your comfort zone and did a really good job.
Good.
Awesome.
Yeah, it felt very intimate. Like Michael said, small. It felt very intimate. I loved it.
Yeah. So Adrian, I didn't ask you earlier, like how long have you guys been in business at Four Seasons?
17 years, 4 seasons we've been in business. And I've been in the industry for 20 years this year.
Good.
In the buy here, pay here industry.
Yeah. So those of you who enjoy golf, you might want to do a field visit to Four Seasons Auto in southern Utah. That's fantastic golf country.
I mean, you've got red rocks and these brilliant greens, and it's
but we're not here to talk about golf.
Come on down, everyone. And
so we know Jackson and Ysmael that you guys have been in business for about 8 years. Elisabeth, how long have you guys been in business?
10 years now, or 11? 11 years now. Yeah. 11 years.
And you left Rudy.
Well, I'm coming to Rudy.
I know. It's like, is it best for last, right,
yeah.
Rudy?
Well, we got a lot more to talk about. But yeah, Rudy in the Austin, Texas area, welcome. So Rudy, was this your first event of this nature?
No, I've been to Buy Here Pay Here United and the TIADA. But the best part about this one, I think, was the roundtable. Jackson was in my roundtable. Nice. You got to talk to other dealers and debates and talking about our problems. And it's like, okay, everyone's had this problem. Yeah. And what is everyone's approach?
Yeah,
was very useful. So I like that. Rather than the classes are fine, but sometimes it's someone who's like not even actively a dealer teaching a class, which still has value. But it's nice to hear someone else who's like in the trenches being like, hey, I'm emotionally dealing with this problem.
Yeah.
And like there's ramifications to how I solve it.
Yeah. So yeah, I get the emotions. Somebody told me when I first got in it, there's no crying in Buy Here Pay Here. So I had to suck it up and realize got to fix these things, right, and get back in business. So I heard at least 3 reasons from Michael to go to these events: breakfast, lunch, and cocktails. And so I think there's probably one more reason to go. Obviously, the education is fantastic. The chance to other dealers is excellent. I mean, you're obviously going to learn it. You're going to talk to somebody who's been there, done that, made that mistake. Here's how we fixed it, right? This is the beauty of being able to sit in that kind of a format. And so, yeah, sometimes I like what Elisabeth's saying is, it can get uncomfortable because you're going to talk about stuff that you don't make time to talk about or you choose not to think about often enough. And so
I have a question. One is, how many of y'all are in a Dealer 20 group right now?
Yeah.
So, all right. So a bunch of you are
a
V8 dealer group. So,
all right.
Yeah.
And so I as you, Elisabeth, you were talking about how it's like that where you're able to kind of get intimate with like your business model and what are your struggles and all of that. Did you find those of you who are in a group like that, did you find a lot of value from being able to kind of just switch tables if you wanted to and get some different people's perspectives as you went along? Was that something that was
ask somebody in particular?
Elisabeth.
Yeah.
I didn't switch. They said if you didn't feel like you were getting value to leave the room and go find another group that was better, but all the groups had the same agenda.
Okay.
Switching might have just been, I've seen this same group of people and I want to talk to some new, but my group was strong. Adrian, I think you speak to that. It was a strong group. We had a lot of healthy debate going on, fun, calling ourselves idiots. Like we had a good time in our tables.
Right on.
I agree. It was great.
Yeah. So we certainly recognize the value of education and being able to get in a room like that. And so I'm sure some of the topics were rich. Did you have any, Ysmael, to you, how many takeaways you feel like you had? Anything in mind?
I mean, a ton. I can just remember one in particular, which I already applied, which was Meg. I saw her. There she is. So there was a time that we did the best idea. It was at the end. So we all pitched the best idea, and then our group came forward and spoke about it. Yeah. And Meg's idea was about the insurance notifications to move them electronically. And I tried years ago, it didn't work. I don't know, I didn't try hard enough. And yesterday I posted on the group, I already got with 2 companies. So that's a big takeaway. It's already working.
Well, and you mentioned this is, I remember, Ysmael, that I had a follow-up question for you. And you said you've been in the business for 8 years and you're just kind of doing it. Where did you go to learn?
Good question. I mean, we're young people, so YouTube and, you know, researching the internet, and that's how we did it. But it feels, you can learn that way. I mean, we've been doing business for a long time that way, but you don't feel the reassurance. There's someone that has done it before you, and when you feel that, it's like, okay, we're doing things right.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it is, I mean, it comes down to that value of talking to other people that you just don't get if you're lone wolf in a city trying to figure it out and, you know, piece things together like, oh, well, that works, which is actually one of the reasons why there are as many business models as there are people on the screen.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Back to you, Rudy. So did you go there seeking anything in particular, or did you just kind of go with an open mind like Adrian?
No, I mean, I'm just going to learn. You know, I just started going to these things. I was in cash sales for the prior 6 years, but I feel like I have 6 years of experience, but like I repeated the second or third year multiple times because I'm trying to learn it all myself. Yeah, and I'd rather come and listen to Jackson or Adrian be like, oh no, I already figured out that big problem that you're going to spend 2 years working on. Yeah. You just do this.
That's worth the price of admission, right there.
Now I can move on, and then we just and
that's awesome.
Yeah, I love
that's education.
Yeah. So Elisabeth, back to you guys. Like any suggestions you would have for dealers next year? This is an annual event, right? So it'll come around this time next year, unless they figure out a way to add some more. But your thoughts on just how you would share with people who are contemplating whether they should go.
Oh man, come in and just shake hands. And if you don't know somebody, introduce yourself. Likelihood, like all these guys are saying, these are the people that are literally boots on the ground working the business. There's a wealth of information. It's like making new friends that can just help your quality of life.
Sure.
Every single day. And they're all so happy to share. I mean, I got to be honest. I was sitting at a table one night at a reception, and somebody sat down at my table and started talking. Everyone starts beating him on the shoulder, like, "Oh my gosh, he's a legend!" And I was like, "Who is the legend?"
Yeah.
It's Ingram Walters sitting at my table. But I didn't know this, so I introduced myself to him. I said, what's the legend?"
Yeah.
You know, this stuff like some people. Maybe I'm the only one that doesn't know who Ingram Walters is. Probably.
Well, you're young.
But like. And not been in the business that long, but he's super great. That room is full of incredible, gifted people who don't mind at all to shake your hand and tell you something great about the business that can save you time. You know, like Rudy was saying, don't waste time on this stuff. And I think just getting out of your comfort zone and not letting the start stop you. That would be what I would say to a dealer that's constantly, come on, bring it on. We're going to sit around, share drinks, and share ideas for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, if you don't mind me saying something with Elisabeth right there following up too, that you got to go in with an open mind, and you can't be embarrassed. You can't be shy. You got to, and congrats to Megan too. And she won for next year, the hotel and everything with her great idea. That was awesome. But yeah, you got to be able to just speak up. Don't hold back, because there's so much talent there that if you don't ask, you're not gonna learn anything.
Sure.
You just can't be embarrassed. You can't be shy. Just be, outgoing out there.
In addition to open mind, I would say even like a welcoming mind. Like one of the things we're doing we're moving forward with V8 masterminds, and so one of the things we'll ask dealers to do is come in the room and like, this is a problem that I currently don't know how to solve. Like, we have to be able to say it out loud. I don't have the answer to this. Yes. Who can help me solve this problem, right? And so unless we're prepared to say, I don't know, then you're not going to probably find the answers, you know? So it's like just kind of going in with that attitude is a big help. But yeah, it's great to hear from you guys. It sounded like an outstanding format. And I think, Michael, you would suggest to dealers attend, right? Be there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's there's really, we've been going to these for quite a few years. And now this one was probably one of my favorite settings. Good. So they're really getting good at connecting dealers together. But even all the years that we've been going, you never don't come away with some nugget that's going to either inspire you, just kind of build you up, or simply give you a nugget that'll save you, thousands or millions in the future. So there's just no reason not to go. If you're thinking, yeah, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, especially if you haven't gone before, just attend one.
Yeah.
And then you'll know. And I think you'll probably keep coming back. It really is a great value. And we just now, it's great networking.
I love that you said it was your favorite, the way that they set the whole venue kind of thing and the format up. Because that speaks volumes, because you've done a lot of different conferences, and it's like, but it sounds like you had one of the more rich experiences doing it this way than you have in some of the other ways that conferences can do.
Yeah, I'm hearing from all of you that's excellent ROI. You brought back some very actionable things that are going to have a big impact in your business. You met some people that will now be in your, what we used to call a Rolodex. They're in your contacts in your phone now, right? And
we date ourselves.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. I am familiar with Ingram Walters. I'm not familiar with YouTube that I heard Ysmael mention. I'm not. Yeah. I'm too old for that. Yeah,
we have, honey, we're on YouTube. So.
Okay. Good. Whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the, just to follow up on that one of the things that I personally I wasn't too sure of it is that we're all dealers, and I was thinking, okay, why would they help me out on their competition? How is this gonna work out? But it's not like that at all. Like they really do help you out. All of those guys, Russell, all of those guys, they just help you. They understand that we're not in the same market. We're all leveling each other up, and that was pretty great.
All ships rise.
Yeah.
And I've seen that. I think here's Rudy, who's newer to the industry of the buy here, pay here side. He's been in the retail side, but Rudy is also one of these people who's very generous with what he learns as he goes. He's out there doing some YouTube and sharing some stuff on social. But it's been my observation, being around the business for 20 plus years now, folks are happy to help. One other quick observation I would share, and Adrian, you're somebody who can confirm this. Like I've always said, we sit back and we have the perception. Sometimes you'll think, well, when I got it all figured out, I don't need to go to the conference. But it's been my observation, when you go, some of the most successful dealers are on the front row taking notes. What does that tell us? They don't have it all figured out. They're there to learn and hone their skills and keep sharpening the saw, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's part of what I see and so I think sometimes we think we don't need to go, but I think we just don't realize what kind of resource that is and what we're missing out on. And so, not to mention just the chance to shake hands with others and get to know other dealers and build that network that way. So all good stuff. I think I don't have anything else. Did you have some other follow-up?
I didn't. Really, I love talking to dealers after they've had an experience like this, because it's just, you all walk away so energized with like, all right, we've got all of these things that we are going to implement and do. And so now comes the work.
Yeah.
And so, I'm an implementer. And so it's like, now comes the work, and it's really going to be fun to for you all, and for anyone that's watching, as you guys participate in social media. It's like, what are the things you're learning? How are the things helping you that you've implemented? And then to see what you bring back next year to the conference. And, so great job. Well done.
Yeah.
You guys. Well done.
Yeah. And thanks again for making time to join us this morning. I will going to let you get back to your dealerships and do your thing, but we do appreciate you making time and sharing with others.
Any closing thoughts? We'll start with you, Adrian.
Again, hey, next year, we would like to see more people join us. Yeah. And hey, we're all here. We are a big team. We're here to help everyone out. So don't hold back.
Excellent. Jackson?
If anybody is on the fence of going out to any of the conference, just go ahead and do it. previous years we made excuses like, oh no, we're busy, we cannot make it out there, blah 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 blah. But they're just excuses, and the value you find in this conference is tremendous. It will make up for the time you're taking away from your operation, because all the ideas that will help you improve your business and make you money at the end of the day.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
Sure. We're going to come to Rudy next, but don't go away, folks. Elisabeth has got some Jeff Martin stories that she's going to share. So we look forward to that.
Have a couple.
So
Rudy.
So Rudy, your closing thoughts?
No, I just think dollar for dollar. You might think, well, it's $500 and I got to travel and all that, dude. But the takeaways. If you look at your total revenue, your sales, and if you can increase it 2%, you already blew way past whatever the costs were. Absolutely. So it shouldn't be a money issue.
Good.
Or like a cost or anything.
Yeah,
the time is worth it.
What the trip is, we spend more than that on one bad car, right? So right, it happens.
Exactly. There's so many easy ways to lose money in the business.
Yeah. It's like perspective.
You can repeat it, where someone here can tell you, "Oh, do it like this," and you won't repeat it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't show up in a balance sheet that you didn't make that mistake 50 times.
Yep.
But you saved $25,000.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Education.
Right. Love it. Yep. Ysmael?
Yes, I think one of the ways that I can compare it to, and maybe it helps someone, if you're in one of the Facebook groups, you know how helpful they are. Like whenever I think of something, I just write it there, and 5 minutes later I have an answer or 10 answers. So this is the same, but on steroids. They're gonna help you much more. It's totally worth it to me.
Fantastic. Okay.
And then Elisabeth.
I think the resounding theme I'm hearing from all the guys here on the show, which are amazing people. We've shook hands. I've not met everybody here, but we rise by lifting others. And this particular group is incredibly gifted at it. You'll come on board. Don't be scared. Don't feel like you have a stupid question. Don't feel like you're too elementary for this group. They're incredible and they're willing to share with you.
Absolutely.
Nice. Fantastic.
And
Michael.
Yeah, I just have to kind of piggyback on that. And you mentioned some of the dealers that's been coming around for a long time. They may kind of have it all figured out, but there's guys there that that's been around for a long time doing wonderful business. One of the guys that we saw there was Ben Goodman with the JD Rider Group, and he will. It doesn't matter what question is, he's willing to help. And like you said, he's right there on the front row taking notes. And we're talking about somebody who's been in the business for a while, was a moderator, and then having Ingram Walters come back and do that talk on I guess it was Saturday morning or Sunday morning. No,
it's Tuesday.
Tuesday, the last morning. It was Tuesday morning.
Very good speech.
So these guys are just are great. They're willing to help, and then the guys like us who are there and just. We have a little bit to offer, but we have a lot to receive too. And so it's just both ways, give and take. Everybody's willing to share their experience.
Yeah, good. So Elisabeth's not going to tell her Jeff Martin story. I'm going to tell a quick story about Ingram Walters that Jeff Martin shared when he was on our podcast before. I hope I can tell this right. I'm going to kind of paraphrase. He said that Ingram Walters came to an event and he showed up with his wife and they were a little bit late. And he said, I Michelle knows the story. Ingram says, I learned a long time ago, I can either be on time or I can show up with a wife with perfect hair. Like, isn't my wife beautiful today? So, so that's kind of gives you a little feel for those of you who didn't get a chance to meet Ingram Walters. That's who you're talking about. He's quite a character.
Jim, I will tell you all.
Oh, okay.
Jeff Martin to 100 burpees. You're probably not going to make $100 like I did. Wow. I also didn't challenge him. He challenged me.
Oh, wow.
Surprised I showed up. So I'm just telling y'all.
Okay.
He can keep it real. He does a really good job. We're doing 100 burpees on I think it was Monday morning before everything got started. So
in a suit?
What's that?
In a suit? He was in a
on. He was a little hard to recognize.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Did he know he was going to be doing burpees, and so he came in his gym clothes, ready to go, ready to rock?
We were doing what Jim mentioned, where we're sitting around after hours, and we're down in the hotel lobby at the restaurant there, and having a few drinks with some dealers, and we're getting great information, and we walked by a table that Jeff was sitting at. And he was.
Oh no, it started with Bill Elizondo. You all know him. He knows me too, and he knows we do burpees at our 20 groups sometimes to inspire. He walked by the table where Jeff Martin's talking to me, and he threw it in there. Jeff didn't know what he was stepping into.
I see.
Yeah.
So
this is not going to be at the gym doing burpees at 6 a.m. And Bill said, "You better watch it." He said,
"He tried to warn him."
I'll bet that she won't be at the gym at 6 a.m. doing burpees. He lost that bet.
We had a good time though. See, that's just it's the heart of the community there. It's intimate. You're not getting away from people. You have to jump out there and be involved. So there's my Jeff Martin story.
Good. Love it. So if you guys can hang around just a bit, you can hang around backstage. We'll wrap up the show and then we'll come back
and
say
give you a proper thank you and goodbye.
Yeah, if you'll stick around for just a minute.
All right. Thanks again, guys. Okay.
That's
it is good stuff to know.
Now I know who not to challenge to it. But I think my better chance would be like 100 donut challenge. I think I would have a better chance.
Jim could win on Maple Donuts.
Yeah, I could definitely.
I promise you.
Let's put some money up for that one.
He's told stories. It's like I don't do well in yoga and hot yoga because I'm just sitting in a puddle of maple syrup.
I'm not welcome back at the hot yoga studio now. So,
Jim. So hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. Great conversation. I'm really I'm grateful that we have a lot of friends out there that are willing to come in and share some of their experiences. Anything we got before we
just make sure it's coming up the end of the year? Let's make sure we get that membership for your state association, your national association going in 2025, so that those of you who listen who aren't part of those, you're going to want to be part of the association and part of these events.
And I think that this conference wrapped up conference season for 2024, and I know we all gained an awful lot from the conferences that we went to. All right, everybody. Thanks again so much for joining us today. Hope you guys have a great weekend in your dealerships. And then we will be back on Wednesday for our next White Hat Wednesday edition of the morning show. So, hey, everybody, again, thank you so much. And we will see you next week. Thanks again.